or do you rely on the program to correct it?
First thing, don't accept any post-dated checks. Do you rely on what? Program. Okay, the question is, do you rely on the program to take care of it? And the point holding.
Good place to start.
Good place to start, but it's a good idea to be a little bit cautious just what you tell a person.
Just tell them it's a problem.
Yeah, tell them. You might say
Little problem. Little money.
I don't view a iridology reading as, in most cases, the appropriate forum for, shall we say, amateur psychoanalysis. So you got to be a little bit careful of just how you handle it. For the most part, I think an eye reading is figuring out the nutritional program for the person, the sequence of points to be held, and educating them as to what to expect and what they might need to go through. You may find in some cases that there may be, shall we say, a somewhat roundabout way of broaching the issue that may be appropriate in that unique circumstance. I think as much as anything, you need to really look at each person uniquely and go into the matter very prayerfully, and from that, hopefully, figure out what will work for that person. There are definitely situations in which you can go in and you can say far too much and actually set the person back. Or scare, I mean, put it this way, sometimes if you just really unload on a person, you basically put them in a position where they got two options. They can completely panic and freak out, or because it's just too much to bear, they can just decide that you're crazy and ignore everything you said. Right, just kind of shut you off. So sometimes you're better off giving them a little bit less. It's rarely going to be appropriate to dump the whole lot on them. Most of the time you need to be a little bit cautious. Somewhere down the line, like maybe after they've gone through a few point-holding sessions, and like, let's put it this way, you see the squared-off autonomic nerve reef there. Even if you don't tell them, it's still going to be valuable information to you, because if you're going to be working with them in the point-holding group or in the seminar, it may help you to understand some of the things that are going to come up, and it may help you to anticipate and be there for the person.
Well, you can ask them how they feel about life.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's sometimes some roundabout ways to go about it. Sometimes what you may find is a few weeks or months down the line when they've kind of gone through it and you start to see the autonomic nerve reef starting to round out a little bit, maybe you tell them then.
Well, you might keep them from committing suicide or something.
Well, the thing about it is you look in somebody's eyes and you tell them they got a death wish.
No, you don't tell them.
Yeah. It's a tricky one here all around. Let's put it that way. And every person is going to be unique.
What
So,
about the other point holders?
it might or might not be appropriate. Maybe they couldn't handle it.
Probably not.
It really will depend on the situation. My belief with iridology is that you're being given the opportunity by invitation, whenever you read an eye, to help to reveal to that person a lot of things about themselves. And that's something that should be done, I think, with a certain degree of privacy and confidentiality. If somebody wants to have their husband or wife or somebody along with their eye reading, that's all very well and good. That's their decision. But if I've read somebody's eyes and learned some things about that person, I don't automatically assume that that gives me permission to reveal that to anybody else. You see what I mean? So as far as like saying everything else to the point holders, I don't know if that necessarily would be appropriate there. I think we had John here.
Yeah, does it matter which eye? Does it different interpretation?
There may be slightly different interpretations because with respect to the two eyes here, on a physical level, of course, the left eye is going to pertain to the left side of the body, the right eye to the right side of the body. Sometimes it's worth stating the obvious. But on other levels, the left will tend to pertain a lot with the female side, and in particular with what you got from your mom, and the right will tend to pertain to the male side and what you got from your dad. So you see somebody who's got a squared off autonomic nerve root in one side, not the other. That may reflect to some degree upon their whichever parent is indicated there. Okay, left is the female and right is the male. So you see something in one eye, and it may indicate where again, I mean, these patterns can be passed right down. The death wish can go from one generation to the next.
The reason why I asked is that I've got a slightly severe in my left eye. My mother got polio when I was 5 and died about 20 years later.
Yeah. So you'll find that this may well be instructive.
Excuse me, Doug.
Yes.
I was going to say, apart from the fact of the autonomic nervous root being sort of squared off, to say indicates the sort of suicidal tendencies. I think that it will probably also vary if there's a protection from the autonomic nervous root going, say, perhaps towards 12 o'clock.
A what going towards 12 o'clock?
From the autonomic nervous root itself, projecting up, because with most mental suicidal problems, it's very directly involved with the atlas and the upper cervical region.
There's
it's more severe than ever.
This is getting way ahead of ourselves, but since you bring it up, there's okay, he's asking about what about 12, how does 12 o'clock figure into all this, correct?
Yep.
There's an area in the eye chart there that's called the Animation Life Center. That's right smack there at 12 o'clock. Animation Life. It's right there in your chart, both eyes. Animation Life. And among the, shall we say, the characteristics of a person that's got problems up in this area will be a long-term tendency, both physically and emotionally, towards the, shall we say, the low pole of existence, the fatigue, the lethargy, the despondency, the possibly the suicidal thoughts, and the, that end of things. There's a high pole where you may have the manic tendencies, depending upon, whether you're at the hyperactive or hypoactive state. This is getting way ahead of ourselves, but what you're saying is accurate. A lot of times the suicidal stuff and the severe depression and so forth will also be indicated at 12 o'clock in one or both eyes. And then again, also you're going to say, well, left side may have to do with something from the mother's side, right side may have to do with something from the father's side. On another sense also, by the way, the left eye will have to do with your yin side, with your receptive side, and the right eye will have to do with your yang or more outflowing side. And so the thing is that we can resist certain things. Sometimes we have a greater resistance to the yin, sometimes we have a greater resistance to the yang in a particular area of life as well. So when we look at the left and the right, don't completely just relate that just to mother and father. Don't just completely relate it to even female and male, but also relate it to the yin and the yang, the receiving and the giving, because there are many layers and layers and layers of meaning that are found here. Who is next over here? I think Sid had his hand up here.
Looking at that automatic nerve root, there's not much fat in that, so how can you get a square out of that when it's all round?
It's slightly squaring. You'll see some that'll be worse than this. But you're starting to see a slight cornering there.
So it wouldn't be a serious condition, just like that.
You'll see worse. You'll see worse.
I just wondered, it says
genetic, does that mean a baby could be born with that?
I'm saying it's genetic in part. It's genetic in part. I mean, a tremendous amount of what we inherit is, I mean, we get a tremendous amount of stuff genetically.
So, I mean, a person could have that for a long time in their life.
They could have it all their life, or it could develop kind of along the way. Okay, Paul.
I just wanted to comment. I read a lady died one time, and I saw in her right eye she had a big squaring off on the autonomic nerve rings, and the left eye was a really nice shaped round eye in around the autonomic nerve rings. It was about a third of the way. I thought, gee, that's really good. And I said to her, so you had a little bit of trouble with your father, do you? And she said, no, I get on with him really well, but my mother and I had a huge argument about 6 months ago, and she died 2 months ago, and I never covered that up. It was quite an interesting contrast, of what had happened. She said she still felt really sad about that situation happening.
There's a lot of levels there.